But I didn't know it until recently that they had no intention of writing with me for Bon Jovi. It wasn't 5 minutes into meeting John and Richie. I pull it out and I say the title, and John's face lights up. I don't think I saw that many teeth in my lifetime. And he said he wanted to write a working class, kind of tale about this, couple that was having a really hard time making ends meet. And he didn't tell me at the time, but in his mind, he said he had in mind this couple from high school that he and Dorothea knew, Bonnie and Joe.
You mentioned Paul introduced you to Bon Jovi. So how did all that come about then?
Bon Jovi was one of the, acts in the Kiss tour.
Okay.
And so they made friends, and, Paul, said, hey, why don't you try writing with this guy, Desmond? And so he did. But I didn't know it until recently that they had no intention of writing with me for Bon Jovi. They had a plan to write with me, like the idea was like the hit guy, the pop guy for other artists. And then that would bring money to their coffers so that they continue touring and all of that. But after writing You Give Love a Bad Name, they didn't want to let that song go. And then we went on to write Livin' on a Prayer and many other songs, Bad Medicine and, Keep the Faith and, so many songs throughout the years. And we've become very close, and especially with John, he's the godfather to my twin sons, Roman and Nero, who are now 21 years old.
Wow.
And he's a great godfather. If anytime, they ever got into trouble or anything, he would sit them down like a godfather from New Jersey does and set the record straight.
You're going to listen to John Bon Jovi, definitely.
The idea of writing songs that had opposites, like Heaven's on Fire and Who Wants to Be Lonely, like they have tension of opposites within the words, which then I applied to the titles that I brought to my writing sessions with Bon Jovi. The very first song we wrote was You Give Love a Bad Name. And that was the title I had literally written on a little piece of paper in my back pocket. And it wasn't 5 minutes into meeting John and Richie. I pull it out and I say the title, and John's face lights up. I don't think I saw that many teeth in my lifetime. This big smile, and we were off and running. And he threw down Shot Through the Heart because he had a previous song called Shot Through the Heart. And none of us are, waste a good hook, so we'll just like recycle it into the next project, right? And so then, Shot Through the Heart and You're to Blame, Darling. And then the three of us sang, You Give Love a Bad Name. And that was our first, three-way fist in the air collaboration.
Incredible stuff. And you mentioned obviously the Living on a Prayer there. I mean, it's the name of the book. I'd read that you'd said it was your favorite song that you'd worked on as well. So tell me about how that one came about.
Well, that was the second time we got together to write, and we wrote in a borrowed apartment on this. I was playing this old rickety upright piano, grand piano, upright grand, it was like this. Yeah. The keys were stuck, half of them were gone. And they came in, Richie was on guitar, John brought his notebooks of lyrics, and he said he wanted to write a working class, kind of tale about this, couple that was having a really hard time making ends meet. And he didn't tell me at the time, but in his mind, he said he had in mind this couple from high school that he and Dorothea knew, Bonnie and Joe. And so I, on the other hand, had my experience with Maria Vidal, who we, had Desmond Child and Rouge together, and we lived in one little room, for 4 years together. And she, while I wrote songs at home, she was working as a waitress in a diner called Once Upon a Stove. And her waitress name was Gina, because she reminded everyone of Gina Lollobrigida. She had black hair. She was very vivacious, very sexy. And so I threw in, Johnny and Gina, because Johnny is my original name, John Charles Barrett, which I had changed in high school to Desmond Child. And so, John said, I can't sing Johnny. That's my name. It's like, oh, right. So we're all like looking off Johnny, and like somebody, I don't know who it was, said Tommy, because it was like a sound alike, maybe because John was thinking of Bonnie and Joe, right? So Tommy and Gina. And that's how Tommy and Gina were born.
Incredible. And it has become a literal anthem, hasn't it? It's one of those songs that have stood the test of time. And you go in a nightclub today and they'll still play it. It's just a huge, huge anthemic song.
I have a friend who's an astrophysicist who has a company that makes a kind of piece of equipment that's on the space station. And we met in Greece a few summers ago, and he engraved on this piece of equipment that measures all the radiation that gets inside the space station. And it says, halfway there, living on a prayer, with our initials on it. So we made it out into space. How cool is that?